August 1873, off the cold, rugged coast of Newfoundland, Canada, where the Atlantic Ocean never truly settles, and the line between reality and legend has always been a little blurred. A quiet morning begins just like any other, with two brothers, Theodore and James, sitting in a small wooden fishing boat, casting their nets into freezing water, doing what they've done their entire lives without ever expecting that this day would be any different from the rest. The air carries that sharp scent of salt, distant seabirds echo faintly through the fog, and the ocean stretches out endlessly in every direction. But there's something else in the atmosphere that morning, something subtle but heavy, like a silence that doesn't feel empty. It feels watched, like something beneath the surface is aware of them long before they become aware of it. At first, nothing seems out of place, until the surface of the water shifts in a way that doesn't make sense, a ripple forming without wind, without current, moving slowly but deliberately, bending and curling as if something long and powerful is moving just beneath their boat, something big enough to disturb the ocean without ever fully revealing itself. Theodore narrows his eyes, thinking maybe it's a whale, maybe something familiar, but almost instantly he knows it isn't. Because whatever this is, it doesn't move like anything he's ever seen before, and that realization settles in fast, bringing with it a quiet kind of fear that doesn't need words. Then suddenly, it rises. A head breaks through the surface of the water, and in that moment, everything changes. Because what they're looking at doesn't belong in any story they've ever been told about the sea. It's serpent-like in shape, but far too large, far too thick, easily wider than a horse's neck, with dark, almost polished skin that reflects just enough light to make it real and unreal at the same time. Its eyes are what hold them in place, black, completely still, locked onto them with a calmness that feels deliberate, almost intelligent, like this isn't just an animal reacting, but something observing, something aware of their presence in a way that's hard to explain and even harder to forget. Neither of the brothers moves, not because they choose not to, but because something about the moment freezes them where they are, as if their bodies understand before their minds do that this is not something you interrupt, not something you challenge, just something you witness and survive. Then they see the body, and that's when the fear really settles in, because it doesn't stop. Coil after coil moves through the water, rising and falling in a slow, controlled motion, stretching far beyond what seems possible, at least 30 feet, maybe 35, maybe more, gliding past their boat with a smoothness that feels unnatural, almost silent, like the ocean itself is making space for it as it passes. James feels his hands begin to shake, but somewhere through the fear, his instincts kick in, because he understands something in that moment. No one is going to believe this, not without proof, not without something they can see, something they can hold on to. So he reaches for his sketchbook, and he starts drawing. Fast. Not perfectly, not carefully, but urgently, trying to capture what he's seeing before it disappears, before it becomes just another unbelievable story lost to the sea, every line rushed but intentional, every second feeling like it might be the last chance he has. And then, just like that, it's gone. The water settles. The fog remains, and whatever was there disappears beneath the surface without a sound, without a trace, leaving nothing behind except the memory of what they just witnessed, and the uneasy feeling that something like that doesn't just vanish, it chooses to. The brothers sit there for a moment, saying nothing, because there are no words that could fully explain what they've just seen. But they don't need to speak to understand one thing. They both saw it, and whatever it was real. When they return to St. John's, James takes the sketch to a local newspaper, the Evening Telegram, not knowing what kind of reaction he's going to get, expecting doubt, maybe even laughter. But instead, the editor studies the drawing in silence, his expression slowly shifting as he takes in the details, realizing that whether it's real or not, this is something people are going to talk about. The next morning, the image is printed on the front page, and just like that, the story spreads faster than anyone could have expected, moving from town to town, from dock to dock, until it becomes something bigger than just one sighting. Something that starts pulling other stories out of the shadows. People began to come forward. A ship captain claims the creature swam alongside his vessel, keeping pace as if it was following him. Not attacking, not reacting, just there, present in a way that didn't make sense. A lighthouse keeper swears it rose higher than his tower, lifting part of its body out of the water in a way that made him question everything he thought he knew about the ocean and what could exist within it. An older fisherman quietly admits he saw something similar years ago, but never spoke about it, afraid no one would believe him, afraid that even saying it out loud would make it sound impossible. Different people, different moments, but the same description, the same shape, the same presence. What started as a single sketch becomes a pattern, and that pattern becomes a mystery that refuses to be ignored. In 1874, a scientific expedition arrives, led by Professor Addison Verrill, a man known for his logic, his discipline, and his refusal to accept anything without evidence. And from the very beginning, his goal is clear: find the truth, and if possible, explain it. They search the waters carefully, methodically, scanning the surface, observing the depths, looking for anything that might confirm the stories, any sign that something unusual exists beneath those waves. Days pass, then weeks, and they find nothing. No body, no markings, no evidence of any unknown creature. Everything appears completely normal. So the conclusion becomes the only one that fits the facts: misidentification, likely a basking shark or perhaps an oarfish, something rare, something unfamiliar, but ultimately something known. Something explainable. But even then, something doesn't quite sit right. Because the witnesses weren't panicked storytellers. They weren't guessing. They were consistent in a way that's difficult to dismiss, describing the same features, the same movement, the same presence, without ever coordinating with each other. And years later, in private letters never meant for the public, Verrill admits something he never put in his official report: that the sketch doesn't truly match any known species, and that the number of credible witnesses makes the situation far more complicated than he was willing to say out loud. Time passes, and like many stories, it fades from the headlines. But it never fully disappears, because places like Newfoundland don't forget the ocean, and they don't forget what might live beneath it. Even today, Catalina feels calm, almost ordinary, with tourists visiting, taking pictures, enjoying the scenery without ever realizing what stories are tied to those waters. But for the people who have spent their lives there, the story still lingers just beneath the surface. Ask an older fisherman where it happened, and he won't laugh it off. He won't brush it aside. He'll pause, look out across the water, and quietly point. "Out there," he'll say. "That's where it rises." And then, in 2018, when a deep-sea camera captures a long, shadowy figure moving slowly through the darkness, estimated to be around 40 feet in length, with no clearly visible fins, no defined tail, just motion, steady, controlled motion, the question returns once again. Is it just coincidence? Or is it something more? Even now, there are no clear answers. The ocean is vast, deeper than we can fully explore, stranger than we're always willing to admit. And maybe there are things down there that we haven't discovered yet. Maybe this was all just a mistake, a trick of light, a misunderstanding, or maybe it wasn't. And if it wasn't, then whatever they saw that morning in 1873 might still be out there, waiting. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real mysteries that history still can't fully explain.